I got a new world in my view. Lord, my journey I pursue. I said I'm running for the city. I got the new world in my view. I got the new world in my view. Oh, my journey I pursue. Lord, I'm running for the city. I got the new world in my view.
They ain't got no muscle, no hustle, no backbone. I stand alone.
Oh, good afternoon. This is Mr. Not Advice. It is Sunday, July 6th, 2025. This is my end of the week wrap up, and quite a bit happened this week. Also, quite a bit going on in the overnight or the after hours with the July 4th holiday. So let's look at just how the second quarter ended. We had retail once again just unbelievably buying the dip. And they continue to buy the dip while hedge funds and institutions are under-levered as well as under-positioned to the long side. To give you an idea, just how much retail has been pouring into this market, take a look at this. This is how much on a calendar year, how much is going into the market. And then if you break that down by net purchases, by the way, this is courtesy of Zero Hedge, by the way. If you break that down to just net purchases, so forget about volume, look at the amount of money that retail is putting into the market. And then I found this very, very interesting, which is looking at the last, I think it's 4 years, just looking at inflows in terms of average dollars. So if you look at year-to-year change in terms of average daily turnover volume, that's 44%. Retail again, I mean, it's unbelievable just the amount of money that retail keeps putting into the market. Now, does that say that, you know, there's that classic thinking that when retail has, or when retail's buying this strongly and the experts are not, that it's typically a sign of a market top? Could be. Markets take time to top. It's a process. It's, you know, a lot of people think it's, oh, it hits a certain price and immediately reverses and you never see it again. That's very difficult to catch. So looking at the just what's going on over the weekend, Trump came out on Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon and started talking about tariffs again. And July 9th, I think the market is set up right now is still, I would say, less nervous than it was, let's say, a couple of weeks ago. But if any bad news comes as a result of what's going on in the tariff situation, I think that could have a negative effect on the market. But we've had, Japanese news that, they're probably going to be hit with tariffs. We don't have a deal with South Korea. I think we're working on one with India. We did get one with Vietnam. We sort of have one with China. I don't see a lot of progress, quite frankly, in terms of finalization of tariff deals, even Mexico too, and Canada. So I think tariffs are going to remain or going to be back in the headline. And if we start seeing struggling with the tariffs, or where countries are beyond the July 9th, where there's that, I think he said 100 countries are getting letters that they will have what their minimum tariffs are set. So I think there's going to be a lot of headline risk moving forward this week. Looking at what we did this past week, we had a heck of a end of the first quarter. We did 33% up year to date, and that's starting the year off 26%, minus 26%. So this would be much higher. It'd already be above my minimum of 50% for the year if I hadn't done that boneheaded move. Looking at last week, we were able to close last week the following positions. We closed IREN, I was a runner for plus 41. We closed ALGM 5 days plus 35. I won't go through every single one of these, but even the ones where we took stops, they weren't massive stops. So had a very good week in the portfolio. Looking at my current open trades, you can see a lot of these have scaled. And I think that's going to turn out to be pretty darn good, because if we look at, because the market was closed on July 4th, we haven't had the market response officially yet. We did have the futures, but we haven't had the opportunity for the market to respond to tariffs and Trump's comments over the weekend. So I think the market still remains in buy mode until, and even if we get a weakness at the open, I still am watching. Bitcoin to me has been the leader. It's told me where risk assets are going. Right now, I think the risk level in the markets remains elevated and will remain so. There's a lot of obviously geopolitical events going on, not only with Russia, but now over the weekend, it looks like there's going to be a peace summit, or at least some negotiations between Israel and Hamas. And then I did see that there was another group that wanted to be part of the Abraham Accords. So very interesting. I think it's an incredible market to trade right now with all the political and then just the macro risk going on. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all fleshes out. Looking at the performance, looking at the daily here, let me pull off our indicators. But looking at the daily charts, the S&P 500 obviously broke out to a brand new high, been very strong over the last 6 days. So a day or two of pullback would be understandable, but we're into an all-time high now. So the break to the all-time high would have been, let's see here, right here. Let me pull this up. Sorry. And excuse me. Break to the all-time high right here, so we can assume 673 would be maybe another 45, 48 points. That's my my rule of thumb, that when the market breaks or a stock breaks to an all-time high or an all-time low, it has a 90% chance of going 10% higher. We've already seen it in the Qs. Taking a look at the Qs, nice breakout again, and looking at, I think the future is going to open up weak, so this will probably open up below that, well below Thursday's low. Individual positions that I'm currently in, VSAT right now, we have already scaled on VSAT. And let's see where we're going to put the stop. We're going to raise our stop on VSAT to, let's see here, 15.99. We may hit that at the open, but I don't think it will stick there. So 15.99 on VSAT. Looking at Tesla flat. I think the less that Elon talks, I did see he launched a new political party. I don't know if that's a great idea if you're a Tesla shareholder. The big news last week was a sort of a ho-hum in terms of delivery numbers. So pretty much a ho-hum week for Tesla when you think about it. What was the expectation with the robo-taxi release? Didn't really get a pop in the stock. So unfortunately, I think that Tesla is going to remain somewhat headline sensitive as much as he keeps talking about politics, which let's hope he doesn't. Looking at the Russell, which is, we are long via the TNA, another clean breakout on the Russell, so I'll raise the stop to Thursday's low. Back qubits we are in. We have already scaled on qubits, and we're going to put the stop at the low of Thursday. PCT, nothing really going on. We are still stuck in this zone. Oscar, we're holding. It's a lotto play. IREN, IREN had a great move, but gave up a lot of it. So it'll be interesting to see if we're able to hold. I'd like to hold above 1625, so I'll make that 1624 as my daily stop. GLXY, we are in. By the way, we already scaled on it. GLXY, we have not had a chance to scale on, and unless, yeah, okay. So we're just going to raise our stop to the low of Thursday for GLXY. Hopefully we'll get a scale off on that. GGLL, we have scaled on that. No, we have not. We have a small position waiting for this break up here. So I'll raise my stop to the low of Thursday, 34.94-ish. Yep, there we are, raising the stop there. Looking at ENVX, I'm going to come back to ENVX. ALGM is another position we're in. We'll raise our stop on ALGM to Thursday's low, 35.50. How's that sound? There we are. All right, let's take a look at ENVX. Okay, so the news on ENVX. First of all, on a chart basis, we're long. We've already scaled on it. I'm up 47% of my run. We're going to break through 12 and then get a shot at 13 bucks. As it goes for the $60 million stock buyback, 30 years of being in the business, I don't understand what that is. I don't see how that's a responsible action, even if there's planned good news down the road and they're sort of playing defense. It's not enough money to play defense against the shorts. Also, at the same time, if you're a short and the company just announced a $60 million buyback, that's just liquidity for you as a short. So I don't get it. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe this is part of some super secret, what do you call it? Super secret plan that TJ Rogers has. I don't know. I have no idea. So, but the stock so far has liked it, and we are playing it for, we're long, we've already scaled. So we'll continue to stay long as, like I said on ENVX, hey, if this thing breaks out here, 1164, it's banged its head against there twice. If it breaks out, 12 bucks is easy. So EOSE, EOSE had news, not really reacted extremely well, but when I look at this, we're almost made up at least the second of the, or the third of the trifecta of bad news that happened 3 days in a row, 2 days in a row to us. So, I was making this comment to one of my one-on-one members, and I said, for those of, the EOSE people that are frustrated, remember last week I said, EOSP people who need to quit their bitching because there were so many people just freaking out and losing their mind. Now this week, everyone's talking about, oh, now it's going to the moon. Hey, look, there's not really going to be movement until we get more clarity on revenues and orders. And that's why probably it didn't move on that MOU news. As for the possible contract with NextEra, I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know what the production requirement would be, but I would expect it to be massive. And if their CEO of NextEra is saying he's already got battery supply covered, I would say that EOSE is not set up to meet what that level of production. So I don't know. So overall, though, when I look at EOSE or even ENVX right now, I'm pretty encouraged by their share price. I obviously, from a macro basis, I think that EOSE has a deeper foundation in terms of what could the potential be through the end of the year. But both of them right now, remember especially with EOSE now being in the index, you're going to have days where EOSE and NFX, but EOSE trends with the small cap market. And it's important to realize what I'm watching for is for separation from EOSE from the Russell to see those days where the Russell is down and EOSE starts outperforming. Otherwise, the stock may go up, but that might be entirely due to the Russell, which is fine. If we truly get into a period here of a dash for trash, I think it could lift both NFX and EOSE. So, but from a macro and fundamental standpoint, unless they, both of them need to release news, both of them need to release news about a contract. And once they do that, each of them, depending on the size of the contract, I think that'll give us more visibility, and each shareholder group will react appropriately. I think that, it's more likely, actually, I don't know who's more likely to name a customer. EOSE's got more MOUs, I think. So I would bet on EOSE. But I still, in the back of my mind, I'm looking at NMX, I'm like, well, maybe they got something up their sleeve. I don't know. I don't have a huge position. And like I said, I've already made money. So if it does take off, I'll have plenty of time to get in. Anyway, looking at the overall market, we're going to see this week, we had a shortened week last week, end of the quarter, halfway through the year. Now we're going to see how well this market trades without that excitement for the big, beautiful bill and all that crap that went on last week. And what will the market start keying on? Probably earnings. We're in the earnings season now. So what's going to be interesting to see is if the market is keying on current earnings or future projections or whatever it is this session, earnings session, that the market is going to value as being important. So one of the things that makes playing the market or playing earnings very difficult. So other than that, I remain in overall right now, I'm at 32% exposure in my total portfolio. I have, last week I was over 40 for a while, so I have reduced significantly my risk. I have a number of positions I'll look at putting on tomorrow, but when I get to the point where, I'm halfway through the year and I'm up 33% or whatever it is I'm up, I don't play defense. I don't slow down. I don't adjust my sizing just because I'm up. I'll adjust according to the overall market, but this is sort of what I'm used to in terms of my performance. But anyway, hope you had a great week. Sorry for the delay of this end of week session, and look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks.
They ain't got no muscle, no hustle, no backbone. I stand alone, not tripping, just saying I'm different. Ain't hanging on to the coattails of the next man. Passport in my left hand, thinking that you are next. Heck, oh, you ain't holding your breath, man, cause I'm out here, I'm hungry. I don't play around, trust me. Ain't had as much drive since my Honda Civic got rusty, and my girl said that she loved me. It's funny, just thinking back, study hard for that 9 to 5 like I thought it actually be good.